What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday afternoon. There is no 49ers news, but there is time for 49ers analysis. And you know that I like to do this every few weeks. I like to give you a visualization of the depth chart to reset where the 49ers are, to give you an idea of what might come next, because I do think that looking at it in full context allows us to see the true big picture and guess what the 49ers are going to do. So, along those lines, here is that depth chart. Maybe that's a little bit too small for you to read. So, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger and then I'm going to share this with you so you can go ahead and check it out on Google Sheets. This is open to everybody. Copy, paste into the chat section right now. And what I'm going to do here over the next few minutes is as an exercise to evaluate this 49ers depth chart situation, we're going to rank the position groups. And this is the video for the offense. So power rankings of the position groups as we go through things, position by position. So there are 5 position groups on offense that I'm going to rank. So the power rankings are 5-1 because obviously you start from the worst and you go to the best. So those of you who have an idea what number 1 might be, who do you think is the top position group in the 49ers offense? Do you think it's the receivers? Do you think it's the running backs? Do you think it's the quarterbacks, the offensive line, or the tight ends? If you think you know number 1, go ahead and put it down in that chat section or into the comment section as you're watching. But without further ado, here come the offensive power rankings for the 49ers. Starting with number 5, tight end. I don't think the tight end is a strong suit for the 49ers beyond George Kittle. Take a look at this right here. Get my ugly face out of the way so you could take a look at the depth chart. Here's the tight end position. The 49ers have 3 under contract as we speak. They've got Kittle. They've got Charlie Werner. They have Ross Dwelly. Kittle's the best in the game. We know this. We also know that he's a WWE star now. Entertaining guy. Perfect centerpiece for the 49ers. But there's a reason why the 49ers are very clearly scouring the draft for Kittle's complement, because Charlie Werner wasn't very productive last year. Still remember the big drop he had in Atlanta. And Werner had passed Ross Dwelly on the depth chart. So yesterday, you can go ahead and check it out on the channel. I made the video about Cameron Latu, Alabama tight end, where number 81 for the Crimson Tide, 8 touchdown catches in 2021. Alabama program record for a tight end in a single season. That was impressive. Latu, not all that fast. The speed probably more like Dwelly's, but I think he plays faster than the 40. More importantly, he is somebody who knows how to get that feel for space on the field, so that way he can go into those open areas, make big catches, good complementary weapon for a superstar like Kittle, even if the athleticism is not there. And I think he could develop into a nice blocker. That's just one name that the 49ers are looking at. This might be the deepest tight end class ever. It's certainly the deepest tight end class since Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch took over. So tight ends, they rank number 5. And if the 49ers, maybe they double dip in the draft, maybe they pick 2 of these guys with their mid-round picks, fill out this part of the depth chart, this tight end position, I think, could vault up at least a spot, maybe 2, in my 49ers offensive power rankings. All right, moving on to number 4, the offensive line. The farther along we go this offseason, the more money pours in on Colton McKivitz to be the 49ers starter at right tackle. You'll see the O-line right here. I just highlighted it on the depth chart. Right now, if the 49ers were to play a game today, Trent Williams would be the starter at left tackle. Aaron Banks cemented at left guard. Jake Brendel at center. Spencer Burford at right guard. Colton McKivitz at right tackle. Is McKivitz going to be pushed by somebody? Well, Jalen Moore is somebody who has been higher than McKivitz on the depth chart in the past, but McKivitz right now obviously is in the lead over him. And Matt Pryor, he's a player who started games in the past, but he's more of a swing tackle candidate for the 49ers. He's a free agent who they recently picked up. If you look over here into the third string, Leroy Watson, he was Spencer Burford's teammate at San Antonio. Former tight end in college, converted to tackle last year, was on the 49ers practice squad. They liked him as a long-term prospect, but until we see more from Leroy Watson, we can't put him much further up there. And Alfredo Gutierrez is the 49ers international exception player. One question I have about the offensive line: can John Feliciano beat out Spencer Burford? Right here, Feliciano, hovering my mouse over the cursors over Feliciano. I have him at backup left guard right now. I don't think that Aaron Banks is going to be unseated. I think Aaron Banks is really starting to solidify his role at left guard. But Spencer Burford's got to make that year two jump, kind of like Aaron Banks made the year two jump. And if he doesn't, John Feliciano has started a lot of games. He's an upgrade probably over Daniel Brunskill, at least as far as playing the guard position. Brunskill was flexible as far as great tackle play for a backup and obviously could play center too. Feliciano is more of a tried and true guard, can focus on that position. And I think he's going to compete with Spencer Burford for this right guard spot. Player who the 49ers want to make a second-year jump, Nick Zakelj. And maybe he starts getting some center reps, but Jake Brendel is back as the 49ers center. 1 through 5, not a bad offensive line. They obviously, though, have a big question mark at right tackle, and I still think a question mark at right guard. So I have the 49ers ranked number 4 in that O-line room because we got to see what Colton McKivitz has at right tackle, or we have to see if the 49ers do something to further upgrade that position. Going to be really hard in the draft if you don't pick until number 99. We talk about Blake Freeland out of BYU. He'd be more of a tackle project for the future, although he's a nice looking prospect that might be available in the third round when the 49ers pick. But in general, the 49ers, I think, are actually in a better shape right now for the offensive line than they were entering last season. And they had their best year pass protecting under Shanahan and Lynch last season. Remember, Mike McGlinchey was a massive question mark at this point of 2022 because he was coming off the quad injury. Ended up delivering a solid year, but that solid year parlayed into an $87.5 million contract with the Denver Broncos. So now Colton McKivitz, who was good over 41 pass blocking snaps, a tiny sample last year, is going to have to pick up that slack unless the 49ers make some kind of magic move elsewhere. The good news for this team, again, is right here. You could see this offensive line. Williams, best in football. Banks, count on him to make a third-year jump after he made a nice second-year jump. Brendel, he was great last year. Burford, well, I mean, between Banks, Brendel, and Burford, at least you have a returning interior line at the worst, but Burford's going to be pushed by John Feliciano. Keith Ismail is the backup to Jake Brendel at center, unless Nick Zakelj can make a move in that regard. So some holes along the offensive line. They're coming off a solid year where I think in the playoffs, it still was proven that they needed a little bit more in the postseason against those elite pass rushes of the Cowboys and the Eagles. Mike McGlinchey wasn't as good in the playoffs as he had been in the regular season. And I know everybody was talking about the Micah Parsons one-on-one against McGlinchey. Well, it's Colton McKivitz's turn in all likelihood now at right tackle for the 49ers to take that next step. They've invested a lot in the O-line over the past few years. Trent Williams still making record money up front, and we will see what happens next for this unit as it tries to protect the 49ers quarterback position. All right, power rankings of the positions continue. Tight end was number 5. O-line was number 4. Now we move on to number 3. It is who the O-line is protecting, the quarterback position. For this, well, I mean, we can go quickly to the depth chart. QB position, I think, is fairly self-explanatory for the 49ers. It's up here at the top. There, as you can tell, is some pink shading. That means the player is currently hurt, and 2/3 of the 49ers quarterback room is currently hurt in Brock Purdy and Trey Lance. Now, Lance obviously much healthier. We saw him throwing the other day. Release seems tightened up, although we only had one throw of evidence, so it's going to take a little bit more to be convinced that Trey Lance is consistently in a more efficient throwing motion and that he can port that over to live game action. But he isn't fully cleared yet. OTA is coming up in about a month, so Trey Lance should be fully cleared within the course of the next month. Brock Purdy obviously won't be. That surgery wasn't all that long ago for his elbow, so we expect him back near training camp or perhaps even toward the end of training camp and the preseason. The 49ers quarterback room has strength in talent. There's no question about it. Brock Purdy obviously is talented. Otherwise, he doesn't do what he did over the back half of last season. Trey Lance is obviously talented. Otherwise, he can't rip the ball downfield the way that he can. Otherwise, he can't move the way that he can. We know that Trey Lance has physical gifts, but he's got to bridge those physical gifts to effectiveness with mechanical consistency. And obviously, Sam Darnold, another number 3 pick in the draft, this one in 2018, also has physical talent. So the 49ers aren't short on physical talent. In fact, the price that they're paying for the physical talent in that QB room is not high against the salary cap, only about $15 million total as far as cap cost in this 2023 season. So it's a tremendously cost-efficient quarterback room. The 49ers love that because they could build out the rest of the roster. But one of these 3 guys at least has to step up. Consider the fact that last season, the 49ers would not have made the playoffs unless they had 3 QBs step up. They needed Garoppolo to step up after Lance got hurt, and they needed Purdy to step up after Garoppolo got hurt. Obviously, they then ran out of quarterbacks and they lost the NFC Championship game. But depth at this position is critical. And the 49ers have it. And not a lot of other teams in the NFL can say that they have the depth that the 49ers do at quarterback. The problem for San Francisco is they now need to prove that they have staying frontline power. Because Brock Purdy played really well last year, but he's hurt right now. So, he's got to heal. He has to prove that he could be the same guy that he was last year. He has to iron out some of the deficiencies that we saw from him, missing some of those first reads later in the season. And if that doesn't happen, well, then Trey Lance needs to show that he doesn't have a big looping release anymore, that his mechanics are stepping up so that he can bridge the gap between his physical skill set and his really strong mental skill set. But the mechanics and the lack of reps, Trey has fewer post-high school throws combined in college and with the 49ers than Tom Brady had just in his age 45 season. So Lance needs time for polish. It looks like he's been working on his upper body with his ankle hurt. That was, I think to be expected that he'd work on his throwing motion because he could only work out his upper body, and he's going to have a chance to impress and be the quarterback this offseason at least that gives the 49ers that frontline power. Sam Darnold, though, is in the same boat. And Sam Darnold right now is more accomplished than Trey Lance. Sam Darnold closed the season with 6 strong games. So the 49ers have numerous opportunities here, numerous possibilities of success at quarterback, but nobody that's firmly established yet. And somebody has to firmly establish themselves for this team to take the next step next season. Is it going to be Purdy? Is it going to be Lance? Is it going to be Sam Darnold, or is it going to be a mystery 4th quarterback option coming out of the NFL draft? Jake Haener from Fresno State, he's going to be at Levi's on Wednesday for the local pro day. Looking forward to seeing that. Anyway, I don't think the quarterback is a massive point of weakness. I don't think it's a massive point of strength either. So I have them ranked number 3. So tight ends number 5, offensive line number 4, QBs number 3. Who is number 2? The wide receivers. Look at this. 49ers wide receiver room is strong. Is there even room for anyone else? Juwan Jennings still needs to sign that exclusive rights free agent tender, so I have him highlighted in yellow there. But between Brandon Ayuk, who's a true number 1 now, Deebo Samuel is obviously a star. I mean, Juwan Jennings, who mauls people, gets under people's skin. You've got a great 1-2-3 unit. I don't know if it can get much better for the 49ers at this point, especially given their salary cap situation. Depth-wise, yeah, you'd love to see Danny Gray step up, especially with the speed that he brings to the table. But gadget weapon Ray McLeod is somebody who the 49ers benefited from last year. And then you've got some developmental projects in Tay Martin, Tyron Johnson, and Daz Newsome, who was on the practice squad for the 49ers last year. There might be some microtransactions at wide receiver, but as far as a bigger splash, everybody talks about Odell Beckham and all this and all that. 49ers just right now they're set. This wide receiver position looks strong. That's why they're ranked number 2 out of the position groups of a talented offense. And that leaves number 1, the running back room. The 49ers running backs, this is their strongest position group, thanks to this man right here, Christian McCaffrey. But if Elijah Mitchell can stay healthy, oh boy, then it gets really dangerous. But we know Jordan Mason, the closer, mini Marshawn Lynch, and we're looking at Ty Davis-Price. We'll see if he can make a big second-year jump. Of course, Kyle Juszczyk is the best fullback in the game. So you have the most versatile running back in the game and the best fullback in the game, and Christian McCaffrey and Kyle Juszczyk, your Stanford, Harvard backfield. That means that the 49ers are on top. That means the running back room is on top of the 49ers talent situation. Congratulations to Christian McCaffrey. He and his fiance now, Olivia Colpo, are engaged in Moab, Utah. You can go check that out on Instagram. That happened just about a week ago. I think on April 2nd was the date for them. So Christian McCaffrey is going to be married soon. And right now he's a big part of the San Francisco 49ers and their top position group on offense. So how's this offense looking overall? Number 5, tight end. Number 4, offensive line. Number 3, QB. Number 2, wide receiver. Number 1, running back. If that offensive line can protect the quarterback position and somebody out of this trio emerges, 49ers can be a really damn productive offense next year. That's what the depth chart looks like. They're obviously still going to try to fill some stuff out. The offense is taking up, out of the 90-man total, I think about 32 players right now, and they got 65 under contract. So, yeah, they're still going to, I think, you take a look at the tight end position they're going to add there. You look at the quarterback position, or it might be one more for the 90-man roster, maybe another offensive lineman, maybe another receiver. But for the most part, the 49ers locked, loaded, ready to go. If there were a game today, they'd be able to toss out a good-looking football team with Sam Darnold as their quarterback, since Trey Lance currently is not healthy. We're going to do this for the defense in a little bit, so stay tuned for that. This has been the 49ers offense power rankings here on a beautiful April 8th, Saturday. I'm helping you pass the time before the NFL draft starts. This is the dead period of the year, but we have some ideas here for you to talk some 49ers, give you a reset, a lay of the land where this team stands. All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care.